Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the New Horizon, watching the massive alien station grow larger on the main screen. After 3 years of traveling through space, humanity was finally about to meet other intelligent life. His hands were steady, but his heart was racing. This moment would change everything for the human race. "Captain, we're getting a message from the station," said Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez from her position at the communications desk. "They're speaking in what sounds like perfect English." Jake nodded. The aliens had been monitoring Earth's radio signals for decades. Of course they would know human languages. "Put it through, Amy." A deep voice filled the bridge. "Human vessel New Horizon, you are cleared to dock at Bay 7. Welcome to Nexus Station, home of the Galactic Council. We have much to discuss." Dr. Lisa Bennett, the ship's chief scientist, looked up from her datapad. "Captain, the energy readings from that station are incredible. It's at least 50 times larger than anything we've ever built. The technology here is thousands of years ahead of ours." "Stay calm, everyone," Jake said to his crew. "Remember, we're here as explorers and diplomats. We represent all of humanity today." The docking process took an hour. The alien station's systems guided the New Horizon into a massive bay that could have held a dozen ships their size. Through the windows, they could see strange beings moving around the docking area. Some walked on 2 legs like humans, but others floated or moved on multiple limbs. Commander Ryan Hayes, Jake's second-in-command, checked his weapon one more time. "I don't like going in there unarmed, Captain." "We agreed to their terms," Jake replied. "No weapons, this is a peaceful meeting." A tall, thin alien with blue skin and 4 arms waited for them at the airlock. Its large black eyes studied the humans with obvious curiosity. When it spoke, its voice was musical and strange. "I am Ambassador HFY of the Zentari people. I speak for the Galactic Council in this matter. Please follow me to the council chamber." The walk through the station amazed the humans. Beings from dozens of different worlds moved through wide corridors. Some had fur, others had scales, and a few seemed to be made of living crystal. The technology around them was beautiful and completely alien. "How many species belong to your council?" Dr. Bennett asked as they walked. "Currently, we have representatives from 412 different worlds," HFY answered. "Each species must prove they are ready for galactic society before they can join." "And how do we prove that?" Jake asked. HFY stopped walking and turned to face the humans. Its expression was hard to read, but Jake sensed something like sadness in those black eyes. "That is what we need to discuss, Captain Morrison. Please, the council is waiting." The council chamber was enormous. Hundreds of aliens sat in curved rows that rose up like a great theater. At the center was a speaking platform where HFY led the human delegation. Jake had never felt so small and alone. A creature that looked like a walking tree began to speak. Its voice was like wind through leaves. "Humans of Earth, we welcome you to this gathering. However, we must inform you of a serious problem." Dr. Bennett stepped forward. "What kind of problem?" Another alien, this one covered in golden fur, answered. "Your world, Earth, has been classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. This is the highest danger rating in our system." "Deathworld?" Ryan Hayes laughed. "Earth is beautiful. It's not dangerous." A wave of what sounded like nervous chatter went through the council. HFY raised 2 of its 4 hands for silence. "Commander Hayes, your world is more dangerous than you understand. Let me show you what our surveys have found." A holographic display appeared above the platform. It showed Earth from space, then zoomed in to show different parts of the planet. "Your world has a gravity level that would crush most species," the golden-furred alien explained. "Your atmosphere contains a gas called oxygen that is highly explosive and toxic to many life forms." The display showed images of Earth's weather. Hurricanes, tornadoes, and lightning storms filled the air above the humans. "Your planet experiences weather patterns that would destroy most civilizations," continued the tree-like being. "Storms with winds that move faster than our fastest aircraft. Frozen water that falls from the sky and can kill. Rain that contains acid." More images appeared. Volcanoes erupting, earthquakes splitting the ground, massive waves crashing against Coastlines. The ground itself moves and shakes. Fire shoots from holes in the earth. Your seas rise up in walls of water that can destroy entire cities. Dr. Bennett shook her head. Yes, Earth has dangerous weather and natural disasters, but humans have learned to live with them. We've built cities, created art, developed science. We're not primitive. That is exactly what frightens us, said HFY quietly. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. What do you mean? The display changed to show Earth's animals. Lions, sharks, bears, snakes, and spiders appeared in the hologram. Your world is filled with creatures that exist only to kill, the golden alien said. Predators with teeth and claws that can tear through metal, tiny insects whose bite can kill in minutes, fish that can swallow prey whole. But the most terrifying part, HFY continued, is that humans not only survived on this world, you became the dominant species. You conquered a planet that should have killed you. Ryan Hayes crossed his arms. So what are you saying? That we're too dangerous to join your council? We are saying that a species capable of surviving and thriving on a Class 12 Deathworld is something we have never encountered before, the tree being answered. In all our history, no intelligent life has ever evolved on a world as hostile as yours. Dr. Bennett's mind was racing. But surely there are other dangerous worlds out there. Oh yes, said HFY. We know of many Deathworlds, but they are empty, lifeless. No thinking beings have ever survived long enough to develop civilization on worlds like yours. The golden alien leaned forward. Until now. Until humans. A heavy silence filled the chamber. Jake could feel hundreds of alien eyes watching his small group. The weight of representing all humanity pressed down on his shoulders. What does this mean for us? He asked finally. HFY's forearms moved in what might have been a gesture of regret. The Galactic Council has made a decision. Humanity must remain quarantined to your solar system until we can determine if you pose a threat to galactic civilization. A threat? Dr. Bennett stepped forward angrily. We came here in peace. We want to learn, to share knowledge, to be friends. And that may be true, the tree being said. But consider this from our perspective. You are a species that learned to survive by fighting the most dangerous planet in known space. What happens when you turn those survival skills toward other goals? Jake felt his heart sinking. Humanity's dream of joining a galactic community was being crushed before it could begin. How long will this quarantine last? He asked. Until we understand what you truly are, HFY replied. The Council will study your species, your world, your history. When we are certain you can coexist peacefully with other civilizations, the quarantine will be lifted. And if you decide we can't? Ryan Hayes asked grimly. The chamber fell silent again. No one answered his question, but Jake could guess what they were thinking. The humans had come seeking friendship and found only fear. As the meeting ended, Jake Morrison realized that humanity's greatest challenge wasn't reaching the stars. It was convincing the galaxy that the children of a Deathworld could be trusted with the universe. 3 months had passed since the New Horizon returned to Earth with news of the quarantine. Dr. Lisa Bennett had thrown herself into her work, trying to understand why aliens feared humanity so much. She worked late into the night in her laboratory, studying data from every corner of Earth. Lisa, you need to get some sleep, said Dr. Ben Carter as he entered her lab. The quantum physicist looked worried about his colleague. You've been here for 18 hours straight. I can't sleep, Ben, Lisa replied without looking up from her computer screen. There has to be something we're missing. Earth can't be as dangerous as they claim. Ben sat down next to her and looked at the data on her screen. Strange energy. Readings covered the monitor in colorful waves and patterns. What am I looking at? He asked. Lisa pointed to several spikes in the data. These are energy readings from deep underground. I've been checking old geological surveys from around the world. This pattern shows up everywhere, but nobody ever paid attention to it before. What kind of energy? That's the problem. It doesn't match anything we know. It's not nuclear, not electromagnetic, not thermal. It's something completely new. Ben, studied the patterns more carefully. Lisa, these readings are identical across different continents. The exact same frequency, the same pulse rate. That's not natural. Lisa finally looked up from her screen. Her eyes were red from exhaustion, but there was excitement in her voice. Exactly. Natural energy sources vary based on local geology. This is artificial. Artificial how? These readings are coming from rock formations that are millions of years. Before Lisa could answer, Professor Amy Rodriguez burst into the lab. The linguist was holding a tablet and looked confused. Lisa, Ben, you need to see this, Amy said breathlessly. I've been analyzing the mathematical sequences from those energy readings you sent me. They're not random. What do you mean? Ben asked. Amy showed them her tablet screen. Complex equations filled the display. These energy pulses contain mathematical information, geometric patterns, prime number sequences, even what looks like star charts. Lisa stood up so quickly her chair rolled backward. Star charts, are you sure? As sure as I can be. Look at this section here. Amy pointed to part of her analysis. These coordinates match the positions of nearby star systems. But here's the strange part. They show the positions as they were, millions of years ago, not as they are now. Ben felt a chill run down his spine. That's impossible. No civilization existed on Earth millions of years ago. Maybe no human civilization, Lisa said quietly. But what if something else was here? The three scientists looked at each other in silence. The idea seemed crazy, but the evidence was right in front of them. We need to investigate these energy sources directly, Lisa said. Amy, can you determine the strongest signal locations? Amy checked her tablet. The most powerful readings are coming from 3 places: the bottom of the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean, somewhere under the ice in Antarctica, and deep in the Amazon rainforest. Those are some of the most remote places on Earth, Ben said. Getting to them won't be easy. We have to try, Lisa replied. If there really is ancient technology on Earth, it might explain why the aliens are so afraid of us. 2 weeks later, Lisa found herself in a deep-sea submersible, descending toward the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The pressure outside could crush her in seconds, but the small submarine was built to handle the deepest parts of Earth's oceans. Energy readings are getting stronger, said the pilot, Captain Jack Wilson. Whatever's down there, we're getting close. Through the submarine's lights, Lisa could see the ocean floor approaching. Strange formations jutted up from the mud and rock. At first, she thought they were natural coral growths. Then she realized they were too perfect, too geometric. Jack, can you get us closer to those structures? The submarine moved forward slowly. Lisa gasped when she saw what the lights revealed. Crystalline formations covered the ocean floor in perfect patterns. They glowed with a soft blue light that pulsed in the same rhythm as the energy readings. Those aren't natural, Jack said in amazement. They look like they were built. Lisa activated the submarine's camera systems, recording everything. The crystals are arranged in mathematical patterns. Just like Amy said, these are artificial structures. Back on the surface, Ben Carter was having his own discoveries in Antarctica. His team had drilled through 2 miles of ice to reach the energy source below. What they found challenged everything they thought they knew about Earth's history. Dr. Carter, you need to see this, called his assistant, Dr. Kate Stevens. She was standing at the edge of a massive cavern that the drilling had revealed. Ben rappelled down into the cavern with climbing gear. His headlamp illuminated walls covered with the same crystalline formations Lisa had found in the ocean. But these were bigger, more complex. The energy readings here are off the charts, Kate called down to him. These crystals are definitely the source. Ben touched one of the crystal formations. It was warm and seemed to pulse with life. As his hand made contact, the entire cavern lit up with blue light. The crystals were responding to his touch. Ben, get out of there! Kate shouted. The energy levels just spiked. But Ben wasn't listening. Images were flooding his mind. Star charts, mathematical formulas, and pictures of space that he couldn't understand. The crystal was somehow communicating with him. Meanwhile, Amy Rodriguez was deep in the Amazon rainforest with a team of local guides. They had found the energy source in a cave system that the indigenous people considered sacred. The locals say their ancestors always knew this place was special, her guide Carlos explained. They have stories about lights in the cave that appeared during times of great danger. Inside the cave, Amy found the largest crystal formation yet. This one was different from the others. Instead of glowing steadily, it pulsed in complex patterns that reminded her of language. "It's trying to communicate," she whispered to herself. She pulled out her tablet and began recording the light patterns. After an hour of observation, she realized the pulses matched the mathematical sequences she had found in the original energy readings. Back in her laboratory, Lisa was analyzing data from all three locations when her computer made a sound she had never heard before. All the energy readings from around the world were synchronizing. The crystals were talking to each other. "Ben, Amy, you need to get back. Here immediately," she said over the radio. "Something's happening." When the team reunited, they compared their findings. The crystals were definitely artificial, definitely ancient, and definitely connected to each other in a global network. "This network spans the entire planet," Ben said, looking at the data. "Whatever built this had technology far beyond anything we can imagine. But why build it?" Amy asked. "What's the purpose?" Lisa was quiet for a long moment. "I think it's a defense system," she said finally. "The mathematical patterns, the star charts, the global network, it's all designed to monitor space and respond to threats." "Threats from what?" Ben asked. Before Lisa could answer, alarms began blaring in the laboratory. Amy ran to her computer and pulled up the deep space monitoring systems that tracked objects entering the solar system. "Lisa, you need to see this," Amy said, her voice shaking. "Long-range sensors are detecting massive objects in deep space. They're not natural, and they're heading toward our galaxy." Ben looked at the data. "How massive?" "Each one is the size of a small moon. There are dozens of them, maybe hundreds, and they'll reach the outer edge of our solar system in about 50 years. Lisa felt her heart racing. The pieces were starting to fit together in a terrifying way. "The crystal network isn't just monitoring space," she said quietly. "It's waiting for something. Something that's finally coming." The three scientists stared at the data in silence. Earth's ancient defense system was activating after millions of years of dormancy. But what was it designed to defend against, and why had it chosen now to wake up? As if in response to their thoughts, the energy readings from every crystal site around the world suddenly spiked. The network was fully online for the first time since the age of dinosaurs. Whatever was coming from deep space, Earth was getting ready to fight. The crystal network had been active for 2 weeks when the first strange reports began coming in from around the world. Dr. Lisa Bennett sat in the emergency command center that had been set up to monitor the situation. Reports were flooding, and faster than they could process them. "Lisa, look at this," said Dr. Ben Carter, showing her a tablet full of data. "Animal behavior patterns are changing everywhere. Birds are flying in perfect formations they've never used before. Dolphins are gathering in groups of exactly 1,000. Even insects are moving in geometric patterns." Amy Rodriguez looked up from her translation work. "It's not just animals. I'm getting reports of people having the same dreams all over the world. The same exact dreams." "What kind of dreams?" Lisa asked. "Mathematical sequences, star charts, and something else." Amy paused, looking troubled. "They all describe the same feeling of purpose, like they're waiting for instructions." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. The crystal network wasn't just affecting the planet's geology. It was somehow connecting to all life on Earth. Captain Jake Morrison entered the command center with a grim expression. He had been promoted to head Earth's response to the crisis after the government realized how serious the situation was. "Any updates on those objects in deep space?" he asked. Ben checked his instruments. "They're still coming. At their current speed, they'll reach the outer solar system in 48 years. But here's the strange part. They're adjusting their course. They know we're here." "How is that possible? They're still light years away." "We don't know," Lisa admitted. "But the crystal network seems to be tracking them. Every time they changed direction, the energy readings from the crystals changed too. Admiral Susan Clark walked into the room carrying a thick folder. She had been put in charge of military coordination with the Galactic Council. "I just got off a communication with Ambassador HFY," she said. "The Council is willing to help us investigate the Crystal Network. They're sending a joint research team." "What changed their minds?" Jake asked. "Fear," Susan replied simply. "Their deep space monitors confirmed what we found. Those objects are heading for the entire galaxy, not just Earth. The Council has never seen anything like them." 3 days later, Ambassador HFY arrived at the research facility with a team of alien scientists. The tall, blue-skinned Zentari looked nervous as it examined the crystal samples that had been brought up from the ocean floor. "These formations are not natural," HFY said after running several tests. "The molecular structure is unlike anything in our database. But there's something familiar about the energy signature." Dr. Bennett showed the ambassador the global map of crystal locations. "They form a perfect network across the entire planet. Every major landmass and ocean floor has them. This level of planetary engineering requires technology far beyond what any known civilization possesses," said one of the alien scientists, a creature that looked like a walking tree. "Who could have built this?" Amy Rodriguez had been working with the alien linguists to decode the mathematical patterns in the dreams that humans were experiencing. She ran into the room with her latest findings. "I figured it out," she said breathlessly. "The dreams aren't random. They're instruction manuals." "What do you mean?" HFY asked. Amy showed them her analysis on the main screen. "The mathematical sequences in the dreams are star charts, but they're not showing where stars are now. They're showing where specific objects will be in the future. The dreams are teaching humans how to track and target the approaching objects." Ben Carter looked at the data with amazement. "The Crystal Network is downloading tactical information directly into human minds?" "It gets worse," Amy continued. "I've been analyzing the dreams from different people around the world. Each person is getting different pieces of information. It's like the network is creating a distributed database using human brains as storage units." Lisa sat down heavily in her chair. "We're not just witnessing an ancient defense system. We're part of it." HFY's forearms moved in what the humans had learned was a gesture of deep concern. "Ambassador Clark, I need to share something with you. Our archives contain fragmentary records of a galactic civilization that existed before the current council was formed." "How long ago?" Susan asked. "Approximately 65 million years ago. They were called the Architects. According to our records, they disappeared suddenly, leaving behind only scattered ruins on a few worlds." Dr. Bennett felt pieces of a puzzle clicking together in her mind. 65 million years ago. That's when the dinosaurs went extinct, on Earth. "The mass extinction event," Ben added. "But what if it wasn't caused by an asteroid?" Amy pulled up geological data on her computer. "I've been looking at Earth's extinction events. They don't follow natural patterns. They happen at regular intervals, and each one seems to reset the dominant species on the planet." "Reset?" HFY asked. "Think about it," Lisa said, her voice growing excited. "Dinosaurs ruled Earth for millions of years, then suddenly died out. Mammals took over, evolved for millions of years, then many of them died out too. Each time a new group of animals became dominant." "You're suggesting the extinctions were intentional?" Susan asked. "I'm suggesting they were tests," Lisa replied. "The Crystal Network was testing different biological approaches, trying to create the perfect species for some purpose." Ben was studying the energy readings from the crystals. "Look at this pattern. Every time there's a major evolutionary leap in Earth's history, there's a corresponding spike in crystal activity. The network wasn't just observing evolution. It was guiding it." HFY was quiet for a long moment. When it spoke, its voice was filled with a mixture of awe and fear. "You're saying that Earth is not a natural world at all. It's an artificial environment designed to create specific forms of life." "More than that," Amy said. "I think humans aren't a naturally evolved species. We're the end product of a 65 million year breeding program." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed the implications. Captain Morrison was the first to speak. Breeding program for what purpose? Lisa looked at the star charts showing the approaching objects. To create soldiers, the perfect biological weapons to fight whatever is coming from deep space. Dr. Carter pulled up more data on his screen. It makes sense when you think about it. Humans are incredibly adaptable compared to other species. We can survive in almost any environment on Earth. We're aggressive when threatened, but we can also work together in large groups. We're curious enough to develop advanced technology quickly. And we're the only species that actively hunts other predators, Susan added grimly. Most animals avoid conflict with dangerous creatures. Humans seek them out. Kethavar accessed its own species' historical records. The fragments we have about the architects mention that they faced a threat from outside the galaxy, something that consumed entire civilizations. The objects in deep space, Jake said. They're not just coming to Earth. They're coming to consume everything. Amy showed them her latest translation of the dream patterns. The instruction sequences are getting more complex. The network is preparing for something specific. In the dreams, humans are seeing images of space battles, tactical formations, and weapon systems that don't exist yet. But they will exist, Lisa said quietly, because we're going to build them. The network is teaching us how. Ben checked the global energy readings. Crystal activity is increasing exponentially. Whatever this system was designed to do, it's almost ready. Admiral. Clark stood up and addressed the room. If we're right about this, then humanity has a choice to make. We can reject our programmed purpose and hope someone else can stop these invaders. Or we can accept what we were designed to be. And what were we designed to be? Jake asked. Lisa looked at the approaching threat markers on the star chart. The galaxy's last line of defense. Earth isn't a death world because it accidentally became dangerous. It's a death world because it was designed to create something dangerous enough to protect the galaxy from threats that even the architects couldn't handle alone. The crystal network pulsed brighter, as if responding to their understanding. Around the world, humans were having more vivid dreams, filled with knowledge they had never learned and skills they had never practiced. Earth's artificial children were finally ready to learn their true purpose. The sleeper was awakening, and with it humanity's destiny as the guardians of galactic civilization. The objects from deep space reached the edge of the solar system 47 years later, 1 year ahead of schedule. Captain Jake Morrison, now a white-haired admiral, stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Station watching the outer planet. Monitoring systems, what they saw made everyone's blood run cold. Admiral, we're getting visual confirmation on the approaching objects, reported Commander Steve Parker, who had been born after the discovery of the crystal network. They're not ships, sir. They're something else entirely. The main screen showed massive biomechanical entities that defied description. Each one was the size of a small moon, covered in what looked like organic tissue mixed with metal and crystal structures. Tentacles and mechanical arms extended from their surfaces, already beginning to harvest material from Jupiter's outer moons. Dr. Lisa Bennett, now the head of xenobiology research, studied the readings from her station. Despite being in her 70s, she had insisted on being present for first contact with the entities. They're not using any technology we recognize, she said. The outer shells are growing and adapting in real time. It's like they're alive, but also machine. Ambassador Kethavar, now humanity's closest alien ally, watched the display with obvious terror. We have encountered these beings before, it said quietly. Our ancient archives call them the Devourers. They consumed the architect civilization 65 million years ago. How many ships does the Council have in the outer system? Asked Admiral Morrison. 200 vessels from 12 different species, replied Commander Ryan Hayes, who was now the military liaison with the Galactic Council. But Admiral, you need to see the preliminary battle reports. Ryan showed them data. From the first engagement, the Council fleet had attacked one of the smaller Devourer entities near Saturn. The results were devastating. Our weapons barely scratched their outer hull, Ryan reported. Energy beams, kinetic projectiles, even nuclear warheads just seemed to be absorbed. But worse than that, the entity adapted. After the first few attacks, our weapons stopped working entirely. Adapted how? Lisa asked. The hull changed its molecular structure to become immune to whatever we threw at it, and then it started copying our weapons and using them against us. Jake felt his heart sink. Casualties? 43 ships lost in the first hour. The survivors only escaped because the entity seemed more interested in harvesting Saturn's moons than chasing them. Dr. Ben Carter, now the head of the Crystal Network Research Division, burst into the command center with urgent news. Admiral, the network is fully active, Ben said breathlessly. Every crystal site on Earth is operating at maximum power, and the humans connected to the network are experiencing massive changes. What kind of changes? Jake asked. Enhanced reflexes, improved pattern recognition, tactical awareness that borders on precognition. The network is upgrading human neural pathways in real time. Lisa checked her own readings. Ben, I'm seeing impossible coordination between military units around the world. Soldiers who have never met are working together like they've trained for decades. On the main screen, reports were coming in from Earth's defense forces. Humans were demonstrating capabilities that amazed even themselves. Pilots were flying combat maneuvers they had never learned. Infantry soldiers were anticipating enemy movements before they happened. Naval crews were coordinating complex battle strategies without speaking to each other. It's like the entire human military has become one organism, Ryan observed. Ambassador Kethvar accessed the Galactic Council's emergency communications. Admiral Morrison, the Council fleet is requesting immediate human assistance. 3 more Devourer entities have entered the inner solar system, and they are heading directly for the populated worlds. Jake made the decision that would change galactic history. All human defense forces, this is Admiral Morrison. We are engaging the enemy. May whatever designed us for this moment have given us enough. The first human strike force consisted of 50 ships, tiny compared to the massive Devourer entities. Commander Hayes led the assault against the nearest creature, which was already beginning to consume material from Mars. All ships, attack pattern Delta 7, Hayes commanded, though he had never learned any attack pattern with that designation. The knowledge simply appeared in his mind when he needed it. The human ships moved in perfect coordination, their weapons targeting specific points on the Devourer's hull that somehow everyone knew were vulnerable. When they opened fire, their energy beams were different from any technology they had used before. The weapons seemed to adapt and change frequency with each shot. Direct hit on the primary neural cluster, reported Lieutenant Maria Santos. The entity is showing damage. For the first time since the invasion began, a Devourer entity showed signs of injury. Parts of its biomechanical hull were actually breaking apart, but the entity adapted quickly. Its hull began to shift and change, trying to become immune to the human weapons. However, the human weapons adapted even faster. Each shot was different from the last, preventing the Devourer from developing immunity. How are we doing this? Asked Pilot Captain Tony Williams over the communication system. The Crystal Network, Ben Carter explained from Earth. It's analyzing the enemy's adaptation patterns in real time and feeding counter-strategies directly to our weapon systems. The battle raged for hours. Unlike the Council forces, humans fought with a combination of tactics that seemed to drive the Devourer entities into confusion. They used unpredictable attack patterns, sacrificial maneuvers that looked suicidal but somehow worked, and a level of coordination that treated human losses as acceptable if they achieved tactical advantage. The entity is trying to retreat, reported Hayes, but it can't disengage. Our ships are somehow jamming its movement systems. Dr. Bennett realized what was happening. The humans aren't just fighting with better weapons, they're fighting with a different psychology. The Devourers evolved to fight logical, self-preserving species. Humans are willing to trade individual survival for group victory. The first Devourer entity was destroyed after 8 hours of continuous combat. When it died, it released a signal that was detected by every other entity in the solar system. The signal seemed to carry information about human capabilities and tactics. They're learning about us, Jake observed. The next battle will be harder. He was right. The second engagement was against 2 Devourer entities that had adapted based On information from the first battle, they had developed countermeasures for human tactics and weapons, but humanity adapted too. The crystal network pushed human neural enhancement to even higher levels. Soldiers began demonstrating abilities that seemed impossible. Some could predict enemy movements minutes before they happened. Others could interface directly with their weapons, becoming part of the technology rather than just using it. Amy Rodriguez, now the head of tactical communications, made a disturbing discovery. "Admiral, I've been analyzing the neural enhancement patterns," she reported. "The network isn't just upgrading human capabilities. It's changing us at the genetic level. We're becoming something new." "New how?" Lisa asked. "Our DNA is being rewritten in real time. We're developing new organs, new neural pathways, new sensory capabilities. The humans fighting the Devourers aren't entirely human anymore." Jake looked at his own hands and realized Amy was right. His reflexes were impossibly fast. His vision could see energy patterns that had been invisible before, and his mind was processing tactical information at superhuman speeds. "Are we still human?" he asked. Ben checked the network readings. "We're what humans were designed to become. The crystal network has been waiting 65 million years to activate this final upgrade. We're seeing the emergence of humanity's true form." The battle for the solar system was just beginning, but already it was clear that the Galactic Council had never seen anything like human warfare. The species they had once feared as too dangerous for galactic society had become the galaxy's only hope for survival. As more Devourer entities entered the solar system, Earth's crystal network pulsed brighter than ever before. The planet's artificial children were finally fulfilling their designed purpose, transforming from ordinary humans into living weapons capable of fighting threats that had destroyed entire galactic civilizations. The galaxy's last defenders had awakened, and they were magnificent and terrifying to behold. The final battle for the galaxy began when the largest Devourer entity, bigger than Earth's moon, entered the inner solar system. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the flagship New Earth, watching as hundreds of human ships prepared for what everyone knew would be the decisive engagement. "Admiral, all human forces are in position," reported Commander Steve Parker. "The crystal network is operating at levels we've never seen before." Jake looked at his reflection in the command console and barely recognized himself. The neural enhancements had changed him dramatically. His eyes now glowed with a faint blue light that matched the crystal network's energy. His skin had a metallic sheen, and his reaction time was faster than any computer. "What are our casualties from the previous battles?" he asked. "Surprisingly low, sir," replied Dr. Lisa Bennett, who was now more machine than human but retained her scientific curiosity. "The network seems to be protecting us even as it transforms us. Human losses are less than 5%, while we've destroyed 12 Devourer entities." Ambassador Kethvar watched from the observation deck, its four arms trembling with a mixture of awe and fear. The Galactic Council forces had been completely ineffective against the Devourers, losing over half their ships while causing minimal damage to the enemy. "How are humans succeeding where we failed?" Kethvar asked Dr. Ben Carter, who was monitoring the crystal network's activity. "Because we were designed for this," Ben replied. His voice had changed, becoming deeper and more resonant as the network enhanced his vocal cords. Every aspect of human biology, psychology, and culture was engineered to fight these specific enemies. On the main screen, the massive Devourer mothership was visible. It had already consumed most of Jupiter and was beginning to harvest material from the asteroid belt. Smaller Devourer entities swarmed around it like protective insects. "Ben, show the ambassador what we've learned about human combat effectiveness," Jake ordered. Ben displayed the battle analysis data. "Humans fight in ways that confuse the Devourers. We use chaos as a weapon. We make decisions that seem illogical but achieve strategic goals. We sacrifice resources in ways that create tactical advantages. But most importantly," Lisa added, "we adapt faster than they do. The Devourers spent millions of years learning to counter logical, predictable species. Humans introduce random elements that break their adaptation cycles." Amy Rodriguez, now serving as the tactical coordinator for all human forces, spoke from her position at the communications console. Admiral, the network is downloading new combat protocols directly to all human personnel. We're receiving instructions for weapons and tactics that don't exist yet. What do you mean? Jake asked. The network is teaching us how to build reality-altering weapons, technology that can change the basic laws of physics in localized areas. We're going to use the enemy's own adaptive abilities against them. Jake felt the knowledge flowing into his mind. Suddenly he understood weapon systems that seemed impossible, tactics that violated everything he had learned about warfare, and strategies that required thinking on scales beyond normal human comprehension. All ships prepare for final assault, he commanded. Implement Protocol Omega. Nobody had heard of Protocol Omega before that moment, but every human in the fleet instantly understood what to do. The Crystal Network had programmed the knowledge directly into their enhanced minds. The human ships moved forward in formations that defied military logic. Some flew directly at the enemy in apparent suicide runs. Others held back and began charging weapons that had never existed before. A few ships actually flew inside the Devourer entities, allowing themselves to be consumed while their crews did something incomprehensible inside the enemy. Admiral, the ships that were consumed are still transmitting, reported Steve Parker. They're deploying some kind of viral program inside the Devourer entities. Lisa monitored the biological readings. It's not just a computer virus. The humans inside the Devourers are releasing engineered organisms that are reprogramming the entities from within. The results were spectacular and terrifying. Devourer entities began turning on each other as the viral programs spread through their networks. Their adaptive abilities, which had made them nearly invincible, became weapons against themselves as they tried to adapt to contradictory instructions. The mothership is responding, Amy reported. It's trying to purge the infected entities, but the human strategy was already 3 steps ahead. The ships that had held back opened fire with weapons that seemed to bend reality itself. Energy beams that traveled backward through time hit the mothership before they were fired. Missiles that existed in multiple dimensions struck from impossible angles. Commander Ryan Hayes led a boarding party directly onto the mothership's surface. The humans moved through the biomechanical corridors like they had been designed for this environment, which in a sense they had been. The entity's central consciousness is trying to understand our attack patterns, Ryan reported. But every time it thinks it has figured us out, we change to something completely different. Dr. Bennett made a crucial discovery as she analyzed the battle data. The Devourers aren't just machines or just biological organisms. They're a fusion of both, like we're becoming. But they were designed to fight pure biological or pure technological civilizations. They can't handle opponents who are also hybrid beings. The tide of battle turned decisively in humanity's favor when Jake Morrison made direct contact with the mothership's central consciousness. The Crystal Network allowed him to interface with the entity's core intelligence, and what he found there changed everything. It's not evil, he reported to his crew. The Devourer consciousness is terrified. It was created by some other civilization as a weapon against the architects. But when the architects disappeared, it kept following its programming, consuming galaxy after galaxy because it didn't know how to stop. Amy accessed the network's deepest archives. Admiral, I'm receiving data about the original creators of the Devourers. They called themselves the Void Makers. They created the Devourers to destroy the Architects' galactic empire. So the Architects created Earth as a defensive response, Lisa realized. They knew they couldn't win a direct war, so they built a world that would eventually produce beings capable of stopping their enemy. Jake made a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. Instead of destroying the mothership, he began uploading new programming into its consciousness. The Crystal Network provided the necessary codes, information that had been stored for 65 million years. What are you doing? Ben asked. I'm giving it a choice, Jake replied. The Void Makers are gone. The war they started ended millions of years ago. The Devourers don't have to keep fighting. The mothership stopped moving. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the massive entity began to change. Its biomechanical hull shifted and reorganized itself. The consuming tentacles retracted, and new structures emerged that looked almost artistic rather than purely functional. It's choosing to evolve beyond its original programming, Amy said in amazement. Just like we did. The smaller devourer entities followed their mothership's lead. One by one, they stopped their destructive activities and began transforming into something new. The threat that had destroyed multiple galactic civilizations was ending not through destruction, but through redemption. Ambassador Kethvar watched the transformation with wonder. Humans didn't just defeat the devourers, you saved them. Jake felt the crystal network's activity beginning to calm, as its primary purpose was fulfilled. Around the galaxy, the enhanced humans were slowly returning to something closer to their original forms, though they retained many of their new capabilities. The network is powering down, Ben reported. Earth's defensive systems are entering standby mode. What happens now? Steve asked. Lisa looked at the transformed devourer entities, now exploring the galaxy with curiosity rather than hunger. Now we figure out how to live in a universe where the greatest threat has become an ally. Jake addressed both his human crew and the alien observers. Earth was labeled a Deathworld because it was designed to kill the enemies of galactic civilization. But in the end, we found a way to win without destroying them. The galaxy was safe, but the victory had come with a price. Humanity had fulfilled its designed purpose, and in doing so had become something beyond what they originally were. They were no longer just humans, but they weren't exactly the artificial warriors the architects had planned either. They had become something new entirely. Guardians who had chosen mercy over vengeance and had saved not just the galaxy, but their enemies as well. In the end, Earth's greatest weapon wasn't its ability to create perfect soldiers, but its ability to create beings capable of finding solutions that no one else had imagined.